Hi everyone, it's Lehman with Lace Covered Skies. I'm here today to do a flip through of a journal that I made, and I'm being really quiet because it's really late right now. Also, my camera on my phone, for some reason when I record on it, it won't let me upload to YouTube. So I'm actually recording straight onto YouTube right now, and I hope it works. Alright, so this is a retro inspired journal. Sorry, I need to fix my microphone here. Alright, so it's a retro-inspired journal. It is a gift for someone. I used a Betty Crocker cookbook, and let's get the measurements. This is 7.5 by 9.5, and the spine is 2 3/4. I've attached a tassel right here, and it's just a bunch of laces, torn vintage sheets, and some beads. Also have some rickrack in here. So lots of blues and yellows and pink. Alright, so let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. Okay. The closure is a gingham fabric, and go ahead and untie it. It's just a big piece of fabric that I got at an estate sale, and it's kind of shiny. I don't know if you can see that. But the cover has a lot of pinks and yellows and turquoise. So that's kind of what I went with for the colors. This spine right here is actually from the book itself. I just added some detail up there, and this image right here is from a National Geographic magazine. It's a vintage National Geographic. I think it's from the 50s. So if you watch my hauls, you'll see a lot of things from my hauls in this journal. Alright, so I didn't do much to this. I just added some fabric here. This is a doily, a square doily, scrapbook paper. This page is actually the front of the book originally. This is from a Popular Mechanics book. I left the first page as the first page in this journal, like the title page, I mean, and the copyright date is 1961. So this book it talked a little bit about Betty Crocker's as a business, and this first page talks about their different offices, which I thought was really interesting, especially because it actually shows pictures of the offices. And I work in an office space. I mean, I work at an office. So when I see pictures like this, it's really interesting to me because when I started working, we already had email. So I always wondered how it was to work before there was email. And as you can see, they're on the phone, their typewriters right there. My boss said that before email, people were just on the phone a lot and taking messages. So I just like this little peek into history, I guess you could say. This is a recipe card turned into a journaling card. And this image is a tuck spot from a Popular Mechanics book. This here is a Shear Pocket. It kind of looks like 50s to me. National Geographic magazine and Popular Mechanics book. This is an old book page from a children's book. I turned this into a card for journaling. This right here is from a encyclopedia from the 50s, and it talks about hairdressing, so I thought it went good right there. This is from a Betty Crocker children's cookbook. It flips up. I washi it in right there. And here's a recipe card and a bingo card that I Mod Podged some napkin onto. Sorry if I'm being really quiet. I hope my microphone's picking up. Ledger paper, I added a tab right there. This is a pocket. Some journaling space. This is a fabric tag. I did a tutorial on how I make these. They're not functional, they're just for decoration. There's a card in here for journaling on, and it's just a children's book page, and I stamped in the corner. Did a lot of fabric collaging. Old children's book page. I love this yellowed paper. It's not the strongest, but folding it in like this is a great way to use it. It just adds interest. Flashcard, and I made this with a clearance stamp that I bought from Hobby Lobby, and the ink was on clearance too, and I love the way it turned out. Like the distressed look of it and just the staining of the ink. Space to journal. Love this page. This here is a Shear Pocket with some cards to journal on. This is an S&H green stamp. Like the covers, I just added it in here because I thought it went good with this journal. This is a recipe. It's a recipe that I cut out from a Better Homes and Gardens 5-ring binder, and I turned it into these little, you'll see these throughout the journal. Mod Podged napkin, and a tuck spot here, and this card. I love this card. I might do something more to this, I'm not sure yet. This is I've put a lot of fabric on the edges of the pages. I think it gives a cool texture. I love this spread because it's from a really oversized magazine, but I liked the image. So I cut it, and I just sewed it. This is the middle of the signature, so I wanted to be able to see the whole thing. Some pockets on the side here with more recipe cards. Look at this chili cheese mold. They did a lot of molds back then. I did this kind of shorter, like a tip-in from the inside kind of. Another recipe card and another one down here. This image here is from a National Geographic magazine. I collaged on this children's book page, and you can journal on the back. This here is from a National Geographic magazine, and it's this blurb down here that makes the pocket. It actually tells you about this car, and this is a transparent top car, apparently. 1954. I thought that was really cool. This here is a smaller page from a cookbook, and I made a little pocket. Okay, sorry if the camera moved. I hope it didn't move. But this is a little pocket that I sewed on with an index card. It has one of those recipe cards again. A lot of these pages that you see are part of the book itself. So really cool line drawings and colors. This blue, and you'll see pink in the other pages as well. Another of those fabric tags. This is from a Popular Mechanics book. Journaling spot or journaling card, and a pocket right here. So there's a pocket here. Let me grab a card. There's a pocket here, and this here is a pocket made out of an old map, and there's a little card in there. And this is really cool because it's from an oversized magazine as well, but I loved it because of just the coloring there. And these are basically just ideas that you could use the Campbell soup to turn into different meals and things like that. So that's the end of the first signature. Second signature, I love this page right here. Love these colors. Here's a pocket, 2 pockets that I made on the inside, and they hold recipe cards. Look at this. Fruit crab cocktail. I think I can safely say I've never had that. This is a pocket made out of an image from a Popular Mechanics book. And this right here, I glued an image on here of a family celebrating a birthday from the 50s probably. But it's one of those little inserts in a magazine. This is a page from a Better Homes and Garden 5-ring binder. I love the way they used to photograph things back then. This is vintage graph paper, and this is a tuck spot right there. Belly band right here with some collaging up there, and a page from the S&H Green Stamps booklet. This here is a pocket. There's nothing in it. Turn this bag into a pocket, and I put this card in here. This is from an old phone book, and I love that it's so yellowed, and I thought it was perfect for journaling on. So I included it there. Graph paper, graph paper. Look at this graph paper. I don't know if you guys can see, but they missed a line. I love this tissue paper or napkin. This is a good way to use up scraps. This is from a paper pad cutout. This was a little bit of coffee dyed paper that I had left over, and this is a Rolodex card. And I love how the colors play off of each other, and it just gives like a really cool look. And you can put this on something that, like this book page right here, you wouldn't be able to use it for anything, but when you add something like this, you can journal on it. This is a fabric flip with some paper to journal on, coffee dyed paper, and I love this image here. This came from the same magazine, and I just tucked it in here for journaling on. This I thought was really cool. It's from an oversized magazine, and I remember eating this as a kid. I remember TV dinners looking like this, so I really loved this picture and I wanted to include it. Also, this is not the middle of the signature. I wanted the whole thing to show, so I cut the paper in half and I put it like in this direction so that I could sew it on the opposing pages so it would give a whole picture. I don't know if that made sense, but I really liked the ad right there. This is an old sewing pattern. I sewed it onto a file folder. It's Velcroed together. And I wanted to do something a little bit fun with this. So this is a handkerchief. It's a pocket. It has beautiful edging on it. And I used a transparency to make a pocket here. And I sewed fabric behind here. And I put a little card on the inside. So this is a pocket, but this is also a pocket. And I did the same thing with this side. Transparency, I sewed some fabric back there for interest, and I put this picture in. This is from a vintage children's book. This is the back side of that vintage sewing pattern. I reinforced it with transparency paper because it wasn't strong enough to be a folder on its, or not a folder, to be a pocket on its own. So I reinforced it and it makes a really good pocket here. Love these images. This here could be a pocket. And most everything in here is vintage, unless it's scrapbook paper or like new lace. Most everything is vintage, as I'm sure you guys can probably recognize from my my hauls. Again, the Popular Mechanics book, and I just sewed it down this side and glued the other side down a little bit, but that's journaling space and a pocket down here. And I love this look. Peanut buttered pork. That just seems crazy. They used pork loins, orange juice, and peanut butter. Super interesting. This here is a tuck spot, and this envelope, I did some collaging here. And it just tucks right in there. This is another pocket, vintage graph paper. This is from an old National Geographic magazine from the 50s. This is from a Better Homes and Garden 5-ring binder, and I love that vintage image. So this is the title page of the Popular Mechanics book, where most of these images came from, and I decided to include it here. It has a copyright of 1961, which is actually the same year as the book itself that this is made from, so that's pretty cool. This is coffee dyed composition paper, and I really like how composition paper coffee dyes, because it gives a cool crinkly sound. Sewed a flashcard on the side there. More journaling space. Journaling cards in this pocket that's made from an image in that Popular Mechanics book. As you can tell, I just love all the images from that book. This here is a pocket, and this here is a pocket also up here. And this card is removable. This is made from, I don't know if you can see it, but it's kind of sparkly gray tulle. so I thought that went well with the 50s theme. This is a divider from a Better Homes and Garden, I think it was a decorating book, and I just added in as a tip end to this page. And this here is a belly band. Here's another pocket with some more journaling space. This is deli paper. I love these colors, this scrapbook paper with this little bit of blue and the blue page in the back. Better Homes and Garden cookbook. Ledger paper. I love this ledger paper, this blue and red ledger paper. Some fun roller skates. I love this page. This is from the book itself. I turned it into a tuck spot. I back a lot of my cards and stuff like this onto file folders. So this is backed onto file folder, makes a great tuck spot. And this is a paper pad cutout. This is made with an image from an old National Geographic magazine, and I used a slide mount. You might have seen me haul a bunch of these in one of my videos. This is a glassine bag, and I tucked a couple things in there, an envelope and some graph paper, coffee dyed paper. This here is a pocket. This is made from a map page. There's a pocket behind it. You can journal here, and this library card has some Mod Podge napkin on it. This here has a few layers of of pockets. So this is something that can be journaled on. Same with this and this. So that's all in the first pocket. And behind here, there's another pocket. Ledger paper. Better Homes and Garden 5-ring binder, a gardening one. I love this fabric. I know I've used it numerous times in this journal, but I really love it. And I got like a huge flat sheet of it, so I'm not hoarding it. I love this. It can be journaled on the back. This is really old ledger paper. I can't remember how old it was, but it might have been from the 30s, at least before the 50s. I'm kind of hoarding it. That's why I just use a little bit in here. This flips over. Journaling can happen right there. This is from one of those manuals that talks about these appliances, and I love the images on here. This here is a shear pocket. It's made from that gray sparkly tulle, and I wanted to just leave it like this because I love how this looks. It's center of the signature. This here is a shear pocket. This piece of fabric just flips over. Again, I did this, and I love how that looks. These two pages are from a Better Homes and Garden 5-ring binder that talked about decorating. And I just love these images. Sometimes I go to estate sales, and I kid you not, I walk into the house and it'll look like this. It'll feel like I just stepped into the 50s or something. And granted, it's not like new like this anymore, but still you get that feel, like the carpets like that, and yeah, it's just super cool. And I really love this round set of, I guess these are all sofas, and they can be connected. But I think that's super cool, and it's like a floral material. This here is a tuck spot. I used bits of paper to kind of decorate this up. I put 2 little pieces of pictures from the Popular Mechanics book, and they make a little tuck spot for this right here. Coffee dyed paper. This can be flipped up to journal on, and you can journal down here, and here's a tuck spot. Again, more vintage fabric on the edges of the page. This flips up for journaling. You can journal here and journal here. And this card is also for journaling. Here's another of those little pockets with a recipe card inside. I love this picture right here. These pastel colors. I wish we could just go back to doing this all the time. I used all those little recipe cards throughout the book. Came from this Better Homes and Garden cookbook. It was one of those 5-ring binder ones, so I thought it'd be cool to include this here. And then I left this pretty plain. I wanted the original, I guess, essence of it to come through, but I did do some punching on the edges. All right, I hope you enjoyed the flip through of this, and I hope it uploads okay to YouTube, because I really don't want to get a new phone right now, and I want to keep uploading videos. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you for dealing with my, I'm trying to be quiet here. All right, I will talk to you guys next time. Bye, everyone.